Hello there, and welcome to today's Astro Tarot. We have a lot of energy on the table that is pointing to a few different things going on in our sky. And before I jump into the cards today, I just want to mention that I do offer these readings. I upload them on a few different platforms. And one of those particular platforms, known as Instagram, has been doing some odd things lately by flipping my videos around and also cutting a lot of my videos short. Now, I kind of suspected the whole video flipping thing to resolve itself, at least by today, because Mercury has gone direct today. But I think it's going to continue to cut my videos short because it just wants to have people do more reels rather than videos. So if you do watch my videos on that platform, I will request of you to check out my videos on YouTube on my channel, Delaney's Well, where my videos won't be cut short. Now, as far as today's tarot goes, I just want to give you a heads up. Today's reading is going to be a little bit longer than usual because I do want to talk about some aspects that are particularly affecting my generation. And I think they're being highlighted here, and I find it very important to talk about these because I have a lot of childhood friends going through some rough times right now, and I just want to discuss some things that are going on astrologically in regard to why that is and why it's influencing our generation so much right now. Now, let's jump into the cards. Our opening card that we have for today is the Seven of Pentacles. So it's telling us that we need to have some kind of patience around something. We need to let something kind of grow a little bit more before we can really, reap the harvest of our efforts. We see this person who is standing next to what looks like, a bush that is growing all of these various sized pentacles, and they have one pentacle in between their two boots that's kind of held to the side. So this is reminding us to have patience with a situation. If you find yourself, feeling some trepidation around where things are in your life, consider that there's something on the table right now that's telling us to kind of hold back and just let ourselves allow some kind of passage of time for things to reveal themselves. Now, the challenge that we have coming on the table today is the Eight of Pentacles. Now, this is the craftsman, right? We see that there's 8 pentacles here. Some of them are on the wall, and they're building them on the table before them. Now, this card has this message of having to actually discipline yourself to continue to put your energy and effort towards something. And there may have been an inability to do so, right? Life could have been pulling at you from a lot of different angles. And so there is this friction or this challenge around, how do I create a routine so that I can build something for myself that can be something that is fruitful, that I can actually reap, right? There's a time element to this that is reminding us that discipline is something that is done over time. No great thing can be accomplished in a single day, right? It takes time to develop and to grow into what its full potential is. Now, the way that we're going to get through the challenge came in as the Six of Pentacles. So if you get my drift here, so far we have 3 pentacles on the table, and pentacles are related to earth, the earth element, and aspects of our life that is related to resources, financial resources, our value system, agriculture, all of these things that are earth ruled and earth governed. Now, the Six of Pentacles is someone who is having some kind of judiciousness around where they're giving their resources and where they're giving their energy and their time. And so in a lot of ways, it's, telling us that we have to have some kind of routine where we find balance in what we give our energy and effort toward. Now, creating that balance is ultimately what's going to allow us to keep growing that thing that we want to grow. But we have to make sure that we aren't only giving our energy and effort to one thing, right? We see 3 figures in this card, and the person that's standing has this scale. So they are literally weighing and being judicious around where they give their energy and effort. Now, I want to talk about these pentacles that are on the table before I jump into these last two cards, particularly because they are an earth element, right? Pentacles are the earth element in the tarot. And we have a lot of aspects going on right now by way of astrology that are happening in earth signs. One of the most strongest aspects that we are experiencing right now is the Uranus placement up in Taurus, which it has been in Taurus since around May 2008, and then it retrograded back into Aries for a little while, and then it was in Taurus. Now, keep in mind that Uranus will be in Taurus until around 2026. And the last time that Uranus was in Taurus, right, was 84 years ago. So it was specifically between June 1934 to May 1942. And when we consider what was going on during that time, there was a lot of upheaval and transformation and shifts around our global economy, around our resources, around our agriculture. And interestingly enough, around that same time, we were also experiencing World War II. So there was a lot of instability in areas that were stable in our lives as far as the country goes. Now, that's kind of interesting to me. And particularly why I want to point this out is because, as I mentioned right as we started this video, people of my generation are undergoing a very strong aspect to this placement of Uranus in Taurus. And that is because Uranus is a generational planet, which means that it is in a specific sign for 7 years, and it's going to be in that sign for everyone born in that 7-year time period. Now, granted, depending on the time that you were born, Uranus could be in any kind of house in that astrological wheel. So it's going to influence your life in a different way than how it could influence someone else's life that was born at a different time of day, because each of the houses in that natal chart represents a different area of your life. Now, I point this out because Uranus has 84-year cycles, and around the age of being, 42, we have an opposition to this Uranus placement. And that can create a lot of reflection in our lives. And for some people, it can be really unsettling. And so it's typically around the age of 42, 44, 45, that people undergo this, what they call is midlife crisis, because they can see where they've gone so far in the previous 42 years of their life, what did work out, what didn't work out, where their expectations didn't pan out. And they can have an aha moment that can really create a huge shift in their life, which can either open up a next chapter where they feel like they're honoring their values in a different way, or, they completely shift their life and change their life altogether. And I'm pointing this out because there are a lot of people that I know that I grew up with that are having some really intense times right now. And I'm bringing this up to remind you that this is all part of the process. This isn't fate trying to harm you or punish you or, trying to tell you that you're not valuable or anything like that. And for us particularly, a lot of our values can come through how other people see us and treat us, because we have our natal placement of Uranus and Scorpio, and it governs the 8th house in the astrological wheel, which is, other people's values. So if you feel like you've been, done wrong to, or some relationship didn't pan out and it's really affecting your sense of self-confidence, I guess I just want to remind you that this is part of our growth process. This is how we come down to brass tacks around what we value and really honoring ourselves in that process. So that brings me to our outcome card, which is the Ace of Swords. Now, the Ace of Swords is a single sword. It's clarity. It's this aha moment of understanding and seeing something in a sense of there's no bullshit in the way, right? You can focus, you can cut through things with a single sword. And consider that Uranus has been in retrograde since August of 2022, and it's going to be moving direct on the 22nd of this month. And so a lot of the things that we've been in a place of review and contemplation around, and especially in our value systems, and this is for everyone, not just people in my generation, because we have Uranus right now in Taurus, it is going direct on the 22nd. And so there is going to be some kind of movement and some kind of aha moment with this there, particularly because it will give us some kind of clarity around that which we need to cut out of our lives and separate from, so that we can actually move forward to something new. And I say move forward to something new because our ultimate outcome clarity card today is the Charioteer. And this is the person who is victorious from their journey in life. They have overcome their sense of victimhood. They've overcome and actually left what is comfortable and everything that they've known to go out on a new adventure. And they're learning how to pull in the reins to guide their chariot in the direction that they want to go. Now, what is so interesting about this card particularly is that it's governed by the moon. And we're going to have a new moon on the 21st, which means that the sun and the moon are in the same zodiac sign to the same degree on the same day, which is why we can't see the moon, because the sun is too bright, okay? And it's a new moon, and that's typically when there are new beginnings and there are seeds planted for new beginnings in that dark time. Now, what's so interesting about that, though, is that the very next day, Uranus moves direct. So Uranus is the planet that creates change, very sudden change in areas of our lives that are preventing us from progressing toward what will help us to grow. And this is a very powerful energy for us all. We're going to see a lot of transformation and change in the coming years as Uranus moves through the rest of Taurus and completes its journey in Taurus. And for those of us that are, of the generation of being born from 1975 to 1981, we all have this Uranus placement in Scorpio, which means that the Uranus placement in Taurus is in an opposition to that sign. It's at a 180-degree angle of that sign. Now, those are both fixed signs, right? Scorpio is fixed water, so they're very fixed in their emotions. They're fixed in their sense of how they feel, to the point of being sharp, right? Because ice can be sharp. And Taurus is fixed earth. So it's very fixed in its value system. It's very fixed in its beliefs. And we have these two energies in opposition, creating some kind of friction for us to really level up our lives. And so I encourage you, if you're from my generation or just in feeling the strong aspects of this, because you may have either a placement in Taurus or Taurus rising, or, have some kind of square relationship by way of a placement in Aquarius or Leo or Scorpio, right? This is a square angle, and it is creating friction to actually inspire us to create movement. And I encourage all of us, if we're looking back at our lives and looking at things that perhaps didn't go well or didn't pan out the way that we had expected, right? Like perhaps we spent all this time and energy growing this, field of food and something destroyed it. We have to stop seeing ourselves as a victim and instead be able to guide ourselves to the direction that we want to go, that we feel called to go, that will ultimately nourish us to grow. Because consider that Taurus is an earth-ruled sign, and it is a fixed sign. And it is around that time period in the, year, in the annual year, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, where we start planting things so that we can grow things to harvest later on in the year. And so part of that, right, is separating what will not work from what will work and being disciplined about where we put our time and energy. And I think that In a lot of ways, this sword, this single sword, is asking us to focus on that. A lot today. Holy cow, man. And we also have Pluto and the sun in conjunction as well in Capricorn, which by nature is like a trine aspect to what's going on up in Taurus by element. So there's a lot of shifts and things that are happening in our lives, and we'll see a lot of growth and change this particular year. Now, if you're interested in, asking me some questions about astrology, or, there's something in your head that you just want to wrap around this, that there's something that doesn't make sense, I would love it if you'd comment below. I recently have had a few friends of mine from way back reach out to me and ask me to process a few things that they just were hoping to understand a little bit better. So if there is something that you've kind of been hung up on, that you're still not sure how to understand, leave me a comment and I'll, perhaps talk about it in my next video, or maybe even make a video just particularly for that, or specifically for that. So I hope you all are well, and remembering to focus your sights on that which you want to move toward, rather than that which you actually are being asked to let go. I send you a lot of love, and I hope you're well, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.